Now it's only 14 years, not 140 years, but that's a long trend. So I'm just going to bet that buying something in the cheapest 2%, now we're in the cheapest 5%, is better than buying something in the most expensive 93%.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Crypto. The CEO of Morgan Creek Capital, Mark Yusko, has joined us today. He is going to talk about how the Fed is desperately trying to keep the economy afloat and how Bitcoin changes everything. Make sure to watch this video till the end because he makes some predictions about the future of Bitcoin.
CPI is kind of a silly number. It's massively lagging. It really doesn't have anything to do with reality. And I'll give you a perfect example. So over the last 2 years, really over the last 18 months or so, the Fed created half of all the dollars in the history of the Republic. 248 years, they created half. So theoretically, the dollar should have weakened about 50%, okay? And Bitcoin price should have risen 100%. Almost over the last 2 years, Bitcoin's up almost exactly 100%. And so it reflected all of the inflation that we were going to see over the past year in real time. So people who look at CPI numbers, they're looking in the rearview mirror. The road's already turned and they're about to fly off the cliff.
Mark, like many other capital managers, is a huge skeptic of the dollar. He says that CPI is an outdated, lagging indicator that doesn't work in real time. Theoretically, the dollar should have lost 50% of its value already, but it continues to become stronger. Why is this, you may ask? The answer is that the Fed is artificially keeping it strong, which isn't sustainable, and will collapse hard at some point.
I do see that happening, but it's possible, I'm not saying likely, but it's possible that people have front run the merge and that on the final event, right, it's buy the rumor, sell the news, we could actually see weakness in Ethereum. And look, I don't have the answer for, are we going to have a single chain world with Bitcoin as the base, Lightning, and then layer 3s and 4s? Or are we going to have a multi-chain world with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, whatever? I can't answer that today. I've made bets that I'm probably leaning more toward a multi-chain world. And I'm probably think that's more likely, but the maxis do make a very elegant case for why everything should be built on Bitcoin. Proof of work is far superior to proof of stake. I believe that 100%. So look, it's a complicated issue. We do own both Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm not as overweight Bitcoin probably as I used to be. And that has some information content in it.
With the ETH merge coming in September, Mark believes that we could potentially see a sell-off when the actual event happens because of a market psychology phenomenon known as buy the rumor, sell the news. Investors tend to buy the asset before the event and sell when it happens.
I think the lows are in. I think the lows were mid-June. I think we've made a series of higher lows. We're in an accumulation pattern. We were in a distribution pattern all the way through June 14th. We had that cathartic drop from 30,000 down to 17.5. I think that's it. And now, 24,000 level in Bitcoin is kind of the new accumulation resistance. And we're making this ascending triangle and these higher lows. As soon as we break through 24, I think we're off to the races. And I would be accumulating digital assets, and I would be liquidating traditional assets. And I was on a network TV a couple weeks ago, and the host asked me, she said, shouldn't we be buying these cheap tech stocks? I said, well, here's the thing. Yeah, tech stocks are down 30% at the time, and they're up 10% since then. But I said, here's the thing. Even with that, they're still in the top 7% most overvalued in their history.
Right.
So 140 years of data, they've only been more expensive 7% of the time. Bitcoin which was about 18,000 at the time, I said,
Different game.
has only been cheaper 2% of the time. Now it's only 14 years, not 140 years, but that's a long trend.
Mark thinks we have set the bottom for crypto at 17K, and it'll continue to rise from that point. The final testing point is 24K. If we break through that barrier, Mark says this could be the starting of another crypto bull rally.
Well, right. If you price them in dollars, if you price them in gold, they're the same price as 1996.
Yeah.
Stock prices have not moved since 1996. What's happened is the stock prices didn't move. The value of the business didn't move. The currency you priced them in got devalued. And the same thing's happening here is in November, we had the greatest leverage in the system in history. In the financial markets, traditional financial markets, highest margin debt ever, and also the highest leverage in the crypto, because there are people doing stupid stuff,
Yep.
levering up their crypto 50, 100x at some of these crazy places around the world. And you had hedge funds like, Three Arrows Capital levering, 3 billion into 18 billion. So massive leverage. You had Elon borrowing money to buy Bitcoin, massive leverage. So what happens when leverage goes down?
Sure.
Liquidations. On a liquidation, why do you get a margin call? You bought an asset, Peloton. Peloton goes down 90%.
Yeah.
And you bought it on margin, you got to pay the margin back. You can't sell Peloton to pay back the margin. So what do? You sell bonds,
Other assets.
you sell cash, you sell gold, you sell Bitcoin.
When we see cryptocurrencies act similarly to economic conditions as stocks, this isn't because they're correlated in any way, shape, or form. It's because their value is measured in a currency that's devaluing, hence the changes in price.
In a Bitcoin world. So the fourth line of the quote, right, is, and then you win. Well, the good news is we've already won. So yes, they're going to fight us, but we've already won. Those of us who have embraced the digital future and crypto, we've already won. So she can hem and haw all she wants. She can try to pass rules. She can try to stop it, but it's literally like, trying to stop an avalanche, right?
Yeah.
Or the famous scene of Kevin Bacon in Animal House, remain calm, all is well. And then he's trampled into the pavement by the crowd. So she can say, trust in the old system, trust the people that have me on the payroll. Look at all our elected officials. They're all gazillionaires.
Yeah.
I mean, how did that happen? We don't pay them that much. Well, they get paid for speaking, they get paid to pass bills that help certain companies. They get paid to award contracts to phantom corporations owned by their siblings. I mean, it's bad stuff. So, that too shall pass.
Whenever a new revolutionary technology comes up, people are always skeptical of it. This is exactly what Mark is saying about Bitcoin. It got a bad reputation in its early days and was labeled as a currency used by scammers and hackers to launder their illegal money. Since then, a lot has changed, and now the world has started to see the real potential of Bitcoin. Mark says that bigger financial institutions will try their best to stop this revolution, but there's nothing they can do other than adopting it and changing their century-old thoughts on money. Do you agree with Mark that the bottom has already been set? We'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Support our content by liking this video and subscribing to our channel, because we upload videos like this on a regular basis. Stay tuned for the next upload.